Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Ayushi. I am an Indian Economic Service Officer currently working with the Government of India. I have over 7 years of experience working in the fields of public policy and finance, and I am here to share my experience of working with the government in these fields with you all. I am also going to discuss certain policy issues in my subsequent videos, so please subscribe to the channel right now. On this video, we are going to discuss the certain skills that you must have if you're looking to build a career in the public policy domain. If you're an aspiring student or a young professional who wants to build a career in public policy sector, then these are the skills that you must focus on. I'm going to keep it very short. I'm going to talk only about the 6 top skills that are prerequisites that you must have. So let's start this video. First is research. Now, most of the public policy sector jobs, especially at starting level positions, that is at young professional or analyst level positions, require you to have good research skills. The reason is quite simple. Most of the public policy work profile is targeted towards finding solutions to complex, challenging problems. Let's take the example of agriculture sector. Now, Government of India wants to double farmers' income by 2022. So agriculture sector has a myriad of problems. There is no one sure shot solution to solving these challenges. And finding a solution requires research. Now, depending on your job profile, you might be required to do research at the grassroots level, wherein you're going to the villages, conducting focus group discussions or collecting data and doing research at the beneficiary level. Or you could be doing research at a broader policy level, wherein you are doing, say, intra-country comparison of different problems that exist in the agriculture sector across countries and finding a solution to that. Now, this is research at a very, very broad level. Now, how to develop the basic research skills? It is not difficult at all. All you need to do is read more. You start as early as possible. If you're in school or you're in college, start reading about the topics that interest you. Read more about it, develop an in-depth understanding. You can also work with your professors or your teachers or with the senior leadership if you're already working and write an article with them. You don't have to read thousands of academic journals and then publish a paper. It is more about getting a clear understanding of the topic at hand. This will help you build the research muscle that is required in public policy sector jobs. I've also made a separate video on the types of public policy sector jobs there are and what kind of work is involved in each of them. I'll link it on top of the video somewhere and you can have a look at that. The second skill required is data analysis. Now, usually in public policy sector jobs, you work with big complex data. The census or the National Sample Survey are a few such examples. Let's take another example of the Poshan Abhiyan, which the Government of India is running currently. It is about identifying where exactly malnutrition exists, in which pockets, and how to tackle that issue. So, for example, if you want to understand that where exactly malnutrition exists and what is the extent of malnutrition among the children of India, then you need to collect data at the grassroots level. There are field officers, there are researchers, there are NGOs that actually go door to door to collect this kind of data. Now, once the data has been collected, you need to make sense out of it. You need to interpret the data. And this is where data analysis comes into the picture. Now, to learn about data analysis, you need to know basic statistics and econometrics. To do this, pick up any book, pick up any basic book on statistics and econometrics and start going through that. Simultaneously, you should also learn about different statistical tools such as R, which is an open source platform, or Stata. Now, these tools may not be required in all kinds of public policy sector jobs, but it definitely comes in handy if you are just starting out in the field as an analyst or a young professional. Besides this, you should also know about different development sectors and the social sectors in India. The Economic Survey of India is a great document for it. It is published annually and it is easily available on the official website. You can just download it and start reading it to understand about different sectors and how data is analyzed. Now, these were the hard skills, research and data analysis. I'm going to now discuss about different soft skills that you must have if you are willing to ace your public policy sector job. So, the third skill is creativity. Now, once you have identified the challenge, collected the data, made some sense out of it, interpreted the data, you need to start proposing solutions to the problem. And that is where creativity comes into the picture. As I said earlier, any challenge in the public policy sphere is very complex. There is no one sure shot solution to that challenge. So this requires coming up with creative multiple solutions to that challenge. Let me give you an example here. Under the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, to make India open defecation free, the solution lay not only in building the toilets or giving the people money to build those toilets, it also involved bringing about a behavioral shift in the way people actually use those toilets. So this is where creative solutions covering different aspects, economic, financial, psychology, comes into the picture. Now, most of the people believe that creativity is something that cannot be built, it cannot be developed, and it is something that you're born with. However, I disagree. Creativity is something that can actually be cultivated over time. It requires genuine curiosity, it requires brainstorming, it requires asking constant questions and solving real world challenges. Ask the what, the why, the where, the who, the hows, right? Start asking these questions. Get your hands dirty. The more you participate in real world challenges, the more you try to solve these real world problems, the more creative solutions you'll be able to propose. The fourth skill is critical thinking. Now, once you have proposed different solutions through your creativity, you also need to weigh them against each other. You need to do a cost-benefit analysis of which solution is feasible, of which solution will require more cost, and which solutions will offer the maximum benefits. So this is where critical thinking comes into the picture. And this exactly is how policies are made. Now, most likely you would also be interacting with different communities, different stakeholders, and try to understand their viewpoint. You would also include their viewpoints in the proposed solutions. You might also have to critique the policies on different aspects such as environment, regulation, and so on. For instance, when working with the Ministry of Finance, I was tasked with a very interesting yet challenging assignment. It basically revolved around change in indexation of minimum wages. Now here I had to critically assess the impact of such a change in indexation and also assimilate different viewpoints together. Now, critical thinking is again something which you develop over time. You have to work with real world assignments, you have to work on real world problems, and slowly and gradually you start developing this muscle. The easiest way to do is work or intern with a public policy related organization. I have made a separate video on how you can intern with the government. I'll link it on the top and you can watch it. I have actually given a clear step-by-step procedure on how you can work with the government, on what are the internship opportunities available and what is the application procedure like. So you can watch it and start applying for these internship positions. This will actually give you a real-world assignment to work on and help you develop these skills. Now finally, I come to the last two skills that are required which can help you grow in any career path that you choose for yourself and especially in the public policy career path. Fifth is collaboration. Now usually public policy job entails working with a diverse range of stakeholders. You're working with the government, you're working with the public, you're working with NGOs and activists and community leaders and so on and so forth. So there are a diverse set of stakeholders involved. Now multiple stakeholders mean that each of them would have their own viewpoint, they would have their own opinion. So taking them on board, bringing them on the same page becomes extremely crucial in public policy sector jobs. And that is where the collaboration skill comes into the picture. You need to develop effective leadership skills, team skills, people skills. You need to start learning how to manage people's expectations. Now, collaboration is something which you can develop over time. You can start by participating in team activities. It could be through your college societies, it could be working in a team at your workplace, it could be through any other team building exercise. Start observing people in different leadership positions around you. Start observing their leadership style. Try to imbibe those positive aspects into developing your own leadership style, and this will help you become a team leader, a team player, and an effective leader. Now, this brings me to the final skill that is required if you want to work in the public policy sector, that is effective communication. So once you have identified the challenge, you've collected data, interpreted that data, proposed a few solutions, and brought all the stakeholders together in the same meeting room, you need to be able to communicate complex and technical jargons to these people effectively. This means that you need to have good written and verbal communication skills. You need to be persuasive to actually bring all these people on the same page. You should be able to cultivate good, strong relationships with all the stakeholders. And as I mentioned, the more you practice these skills, the better you become at it. For good communication, start participating in extempores, practice in front of a camera, practice in front of the mirror, start writing more. Write on social media, write in your personal diary, wherever. Start writing more and you will automatically see an improvement in yourself. So these were essentially the top 6 skills that you require if you want to work in the public policy sector. I hope you found this video to be useful. If you have any queries, please feel free to drop them down in the comment box below and I'll be happy to reply to those. If you want me to make videos on any aspect related to the government, to public policy, to finance, please let me know. I'll be happy to make those videos for you. See you the next time. Stay safe. Take care.